Hi everyone, this is Elyse Doerflinger of Elyse's Genealogy blog, and today we're going to be talking about how to get the next generation of genealogists and family historians involved in genealogy societies. So, before I go any further, I'd really like to clarify what I mean by next generation. So, generally speaking, when I say next generation, I'm talking about the people that are under about the age of 35. And the reason for this is because so many people view genealogy and family history as a hobby that only older, retired people who qualify for Medicare sort of a thing can do. And that's just simply not true. There are so many people who are interested in genealogy, and they span all sorts of age ranges. And so it's important that we reach out to every age range and make sure that everyone feels welcome and we all play nice in the sandbox, etc., etc. So, generally speaking, when I say next generation, I'm talking about people who are under 35. So, let's get started. First tip I have is that it's all in the approach. Your attitude going in is hugely important and has the biggest impact. A first impression can only be made once, and it will be made in the first 30 seconds of them walking through your door, looking at your website, or talking to a member. And if they get a negative reaction right off the bat, it's done. Don't even count on them ever coming back. So, the key here is to have an open mind. Be willing to learn. Don't look as the next generation people as newbies instantly, because some of them may be new to this, some of them may not have a clue at what they're doing, but other people may have been doing it for a long time. I mean, I'm 22, and people always think that I've been doing it for maybe a year or two, and they're always shocked to learn that I've been doing this for about 10 years. So, I'm not an expert by any means. I always say that no one is an expert, because there's always something else to learn. But I definitely know my way around a pedigree chart in a family group sheet, and I don't want to be handed one and treated like I have no idea what I'm doing. So the key here is also not to treat people as if they're doing it wrong. Oftentimes, people who are new to genealogy and family history make mistakes. They don't cite their sources, they don't start at home by interviewing people or looking at resources that are at their own home, and they kind of get off track, maybe start researching someone else's tree because they didn't cite their source and they jump to conclusions, etc., etc. Don't be all judgy on them immediately. Take your time to get to know them, figure out what sort of resources they need, and then in a kind, gentle way, steer them towards that. But ask, always ask. Don't instantly assume, because if you assume, it's not going to turn out well. Also, don't be afraid of technology. So if a next generation person comes in and they bring their laptop or their iPad or a tablet computer or whatever to a meeting and they're going to take notes on that, don't freak out about it. Don't look at it as instantly rude. Maybe ask. Maybe talk to them. Maybe ask them to be on a committee or to share their input about creating rules that will make sure that everyone is respected and that no one is distracted and things like that, because sometimes laptops and the like can be a little noisy with the typing and that can be distracting. So instead of instantly ruling out technology as some horrible thing, take their input and don't be afraid from it. So let me give you a horror story of mine. I'm not going to name my local genealogy society, but the first time I went there for a meeting, which I didn't do until about 3 or 4 years ago now, it was pretty terrifying. I didn't know anyone, and quite frankly, I didn't really know what to expect. So walking in the room took a lot of courage to begin with. And as soon as I walked in, I was greeted really warmly. I was very excited about it. One really wonderful woman took me over to the president and introduced me to her. She noticed the laptop that was in my bag. She asked me a couple of questions and instantly kind of became very cold. And I couldn't really figure out why. I later realized that it was because she was looking at me as someone who was doing it all wrong. Someone who didn't know how to cite their sources or evaluate a document, things like that. And she instantly kind of just started making little comments that kind of stuck with me, and they weren't pointedly rude, but they definitely were one of those comments that are like an insult wrapped in a compliment. And it only got worse later when I was talking to the membership chair, and I asked her about discounted memberships because the bottom line is I'm a college student, I'm on a budget, and I don't have a ton of money to go in and investing in genealogy societies, especially ones that don't offer me something like a database to look through or discounted research or something, So when I asked, they were like, no, we don't have anything like that, which I was like, okay, fine, I can handle that. And I said, well, until I can raise the funds to be able to join, is there any way that I can volunteer in your library here in order to get some, in order to gain some hours and get to know the society and the members better and kind of gain some experience? And they said, no, you have to be a member, which really just baffled me. I mean, I'm volunteering, I'm offering my time and my knowledge, which may not be expert material, but it certainly isn't horribly new person beginner. And even if it was, it's still something because I'm willing to learn. And you instantly just pushed me off as if I didn't matter and pretty much said, no, you have to be a member, as if volunteering is some special exclusive thing offered only to members. So needless to say, I've yet to been back to one of their meetings, and I don't plan on going back simply because it just wasn't worth it to me, and I don't like the way that I was treated there. So hopefully in a couple years, there'll be a new board and et cetera, and maybe I'll have the courage to walk in there again and try it. Whoops. But moving forward, the second tip is being findable. So this is huge. You want people to be able to find you. So make sure you have a website. Make sure it doesn't look like it was created in 1995. It's so easy these days and really cheap, sometimes even free, to be able to create a website that looks nice. And it's very easy to do. It's super user friendly, doesn't require a lot of effort. Make sure you're going to keep that website up to date, because if the last time you updated it was, say, 2002, that's not a good sign. Third, and better yet, start a blog, because a blog is a great way to highlight society happenings and show people the value of membership. Give people a reason to join, and a blog is a great way to highlight all of the reasons that they should join. It's like an awesome online brochure, but better. Fourth, make sure your contact information is listed, especially an email address. Email is a great non-in-your-face way to contact someone. It's not as personal as a phone call. It doesn't require a stamp, which I almost never use the post office anymore, except to send handwritten thank you cards or to contact family members that don't have email addresses. So oftentimes I don't think a lot of young people really use the post office, and they're not going to go out of their way to do so. It's awesome too if you have your membership application online in a PDF form so that people can either print it out and send it in, or fill it out and scan it and attach it to an email thing with their payment and send it on over. And that way they can become members online. This is especially good for long distance members who maybe are joining so that they can get some other sort of value but aren't planning on going to meetings because they live too far. Another option is to make sure that you advertise brick and mortar style. So what do I mean by this? I mean display flyers in coffee shops and libraries. This is a great way to have people see it and go, hey, that looks interesting. I really would think that would interest me and I really want to go. Because if you don't advertise, people are never going to know about it, and unless they're searching for you, they're not going to find you. So, finally, offer some incentives. This is a huge deal for me and something that I really love societies that do this. Either offer a discounted membership to students, which is huge because so many students are on a budget, and we just simply don't have the money to go and join all sorts of societies and things, and it's often a lot easier to join if there's a discounted membership. Another great tip is to offer scholarships for people to attend conferences, and then when they come back, report back to the society what they learned there. This is a great way to help young people go to conferences and things, especially the big national or regional ones, because they can be so expensive when you consider the the conference fee, and then you have the hotel and food, and if it requires a flight or travel costs and all of that, it really gets very expensive very fast. So offering a scholarship is a great way to kind of help them out while helping you out, because you also get to learn from it. Another tip is to maybe offer students or people of the next generation a free membership if they're able to give extra volunteer hours. So maybe you have a student or a next generationer who is really good at technology and really good at fixing computers. Make that person the person to call whenever a computer goes down, or you have some sort of program issue, or you need someone to offer advice on tech issues. Have that person be your go-to person, and in return, you're going to give them a free or very discounted membership. This is a great way to have the society gain something as well as the member. So, hopefully that helps, and I think that these sort of incentives really make societies stand out and very valuable. So, finally, I want to know what your thoughts are. How would you get a next generationer involved in a genealogy society? I really want to hear what you're saying, because I know that there are so many next generationers out there, and you just don't see them at society meetings or at conferences very often. So they exist, and they're hiding and they're lurking, and I'm really hoping that they'll come out of the closet and kind of show themselves and say, hey, we're here. So, yeah, fill me in. Let me know what your thoughts are. So that's Elyse Doerflinger from Elyse's Genealogy blog. Thanks for listening. Bye.